Hey everybody, it's Rick, and it's time to wrap up August with the end of August reviews, week 4, the final part of August reviews. So everything I watched from the 22nd through the 31st. We have 9 movies to talk about in the reviews, and I think we're going to dive right into it. I'm going to put my notes here so I'm not as distracted. But the cool thing is, I have 9 movies to talk about, and 8 of them are all on physical. I actually had the 9th on physical, but it's already gone. It went to Pam at Video Game Movie Dome. She had somebody who was looking for it, and it was not making my shelf, and we'll talk about that momentarily. But first, we're going to talk about Small Soldiers, which is directed by Joe Dante, who also did Gremlins. Small Soldiers is from 1998, I think. Yep, 1998, DreamWorks film. I remember enjoying this as a kid. It came out when I was 14. It was a cool idea of toys coming to life and trying to fight other toys. And then the humans who helped the good guy toys, what are perceived as the bad guy toys, but are also actually the good guy toys. So yeah, this is a very fun film. Wanted to show this to RJ. RJ really liked it. It's been a very long time since I've watched it, probably over 20 years when it first came out. It's a fun movie where the toys get military grade chips put into them, and basically the toys try to kill each other, and when humans try to protect the bad guy toys, they're actually the good guy toys. Apparently I can't talk. The army toys try to kill the humans as well as the other toys. So it's a bit of a dark movie. It's not necessarily a kid's movie, but it's fun. And like I said, RJ is 10. He really enjoyed it. And it has a very young, I don't want to say her name wrong, Kirsten Dunst. I always say Kristen Dunst and Kirsten Wiig. Apparently they're flip-flopped. Also has Jay Moore, Phil Hartman, Dennis Leary, Tommy Lee Jones does the voice of Chip Hazard. So lots of voices, but a very fun movie. I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5. Small Soldiers, you need a Blu-ray release. Get on that. Who does Dream? Warner Brothers? Does Warner Brothers do that? Does Paramount do it? We need this on Blu-ray. It definitely is Blu-ray worthy. So the next thing I have to talk about, I don't physically own anymore because it is 2020's Capone on Blu-ray. Yeah, so I saw the trailer for this early in the year, and it looked interesting. You had Tom Hardy playing Al Capone, and I was like, yeah, I'm on board with that. Tom Hardy's always good. It looked interesting, and so this movie was written and directed by Josh Trank, who formerly had directed and written Chronicle, which I liked, and Fantastic Four, which apparently has some kind of goofy name, Fantastic or for Fantastic, I don't know. Fantastic Four from 2015, which features Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan, two of my favorite actors, and I disliked that movie immensely, personally. So I went into this movie with a pretty open mind, and it was a big letdown. It was weird. The artwork on the back said the movie is 85 minutes, but the movie's an hour and 50 minutes, which is kind of bizarre. I know that it was a thing in the past where the DVD would be actually longer than the artwork said it was, but I haven't seen that in a long time. So that was the first thing I noticed, because I was like, well, at least if it's 85 minutes and not good, it'll be a quick watch. But it's basically about Al Capone in the last year or two of his life, after he got out of prison. And he starts suffering from neurosyphilis, and basically his brain is just deteriorating, and you're not sure if what you're seeing is real or an hallucination. I don't know why I said it that way. But the movie overall is just really boring, especially considering it's about, you know, a famous gangster, one of the most famous gangsters of all time. Things get unintentionally hilarious in the movie. The movie is not made to be funny at all, and there are parts where I was laughing because of how insane it was. But yeah, it just wasn't a good movie. Definitely not something I will ever watch again, for sure, because as I said, it's already gone from the collection. I give it a 1 out of 5. Definitely can't recommend Capone. There's other stuff that you should totally check out. But next up is another film that I had never seen. This one is from 1998 as well, so same year as Small Soldiers. And it is Michael J. Fox, Kirk Douglas, and Nancy Travis in Greedy. This was a really fun watch. I cannot believe I didn't watch this when I was younger. Very enjoyable. It's a great ensemble cast, especially not necessarily names like big name people, but a lot of familiar faces. But then there are people like Phil Hartman, Ed Begley Jr., Joyce Heiser from Just One of the Guys, Nancy Travis, as mentioned on the front, obviously Michael J. Fox and Kirk Douglas. It's about a family who are basically all trying to get their rich uncle's money, and they all put on a fake facade to try to be nice to him and talk bad about him behind his back when they're still in his house. And they're trying to get his fortune, and he's still alive the entire time, so they're trying to get a living man's fortune. The humor is fairly well done. It holds up pretty well. Like, I found myself laughing in parts. Really enjoyed the story, especially considering it's, over 20 years old. I don't know why I said this was from 98, guys. I am slipping. Because I said in my review, over 25 years old. This movie's from 94. So not 98. The DVD came out in 98. This is from 1994. Definitely check this out if you haven't seen it. I need to step up my game because apparently I'm not thinking through things. And yeah, check out Greedy. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. A fun watch. Next up, another 2020 movie that we didn't get a chance to see in theaters. And that is from Universal. And that is The Photograph, which stars Issa Rae and Lakeith Stanfield. It also has Lil Rel in it. Courtney B. Vance is in it as well. So this was released on Valentine's Day this year, and just didn't get a chance to see it in theaters. And I've seen Issa. I'm going to call her Issa because I think that's how you say it. Issa Rae. She was in Little, and she was in Lovebirds. Wasn't really a big fan of either of those movies, so didn't have great expectations. Lakeith Stanfield, on the other hand, excellent in Atlanta. He was good in Sorry to Bother You, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of the movie. He was good in Get Out. I really enjoy what he's been in. And this was just a very nice, well done romantic film. I guess it had romantic comedy vibes in parts, but it's more just like a straight romance film. It tells the story of her character named May, and basically her mother just passed away, and she's trying to read a letter that was left to her from her mother. And basically as she reads it, there's flashbacks back to her mom, and then her current situation where she meets Lakeith Stanfield, who's writing an article about her mom's photographs that he's seen before, and he works for a magazine and does a lot of photography as well. And he's writing a story about Louisiana post Katrina, and basically it becomes a love story. It's well done. It's definitely an entertaining watch. It's one of those movies. It's a romantic drama. I've seen it once. I don't think I'll watch it again. It doesn't have rewatchability for me, but it's an enjoyable watch. It is a good movie. I give it a 3 out of 5. The Photograph, definitely one to look into if you're into that kind of film. Next up, we watched with RJ Soul Surfer, which is the true story of Bethany Hamilton, who lost one of her arms due to a shark attack. That happens pretty early in the movie. It's based on a true story. I remember being younger and hearing the tale of the, I don't want to say she was a famous surfer, but a successful surfer who lost her arm in a shark attack and basically had to learn how to live life all over and wanted to get back to surfing. So it features a lead performance by Anna Sophia Robb, who I recognized from Bridge to Terabithia. She plays Bethany Hamilton, and she's very good in the role. It's a very positive film, even though some bad stuff obviously happens. It's a heartwarming story. RJ watched this as well. The movie's rated PG, I believe. Yeah, I mean, except for the shark attack, the movie's pretty tame. Excuse me. But he enjoyed it as well. Helen Hunt and Dennis Quaid play her parents. It was a good movie. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Like I said, based on true events. Soul Surfer. So yeah, I enjoyed that. That's going to stay on the shelf. Next up is a classic from childhood. This came out in 91. When I was a youngster, I was 7 years old, and I remember watching this a lot, probably on Prism back then. And it is Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Bridget and I showed this one to RJ. Stars Christina Applegate and, of course, Keith Coogan. If you watch Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, you know that Keith Coogan had a prominent part of the movie, and they referenced this movie quite a few times. Very funny, still holds up on rewatch. I revisited this a few years ago and thought it held up and was curious to see what RJ would think, and he enjoyed it as well. It's funny rewatching this. Spoiler alert, if you didn't know the title of the movie, how quickly in the movie the babysitter comes and goes, if you will. 15 minutes in, maybe 20 minutes in, the babysitter's out of the story and becomes you almost forget, oh yeah, there was a babysitter that died. It becomes basically a backstory. But something else pretty cool about this, not necessarily about this movie, but I posted on Instagram, as I always do, what movie we were watching. And the man himself, Keith Coogan, commented on the photo with a quote from the movie that he says. So very cool. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. 3.5 out of 5. Still holds up. Still an enjoyable film. Then next, RJ and I watched The Great Wall on 4K with Matt Damon. And this is not making the shelf. The first 45 minutes of this movie, I will say, very entertaining. A popcorn flick. Very fantastical. And then the movie kind of just meanders through. It did look good. The 4K looks nice. It has beautiful cinematography. The monsters had a cool look, but Matt Damon has this awful accent, and the movie just didn't really do much for me. I just didn't really enjoy it. Hour and 43 minutes, so it's not like it was super long. Willem Dafoe's also in the movie in a very disposable role. I don't know. It almost felt like an episode of Game of Thrones, but not a good episode. I don't know. I give it a 1.5 out of 5. Like I said, this won't be making the shelf. The Great Wall. Next up, we showed RJ Life with Mikey, starring Michael J. Fox. This one is another childhood favorite from, what year is this from? I want to say Life with Mikey is 93? Doesn't have a year. I want to say it's 93. It stars Michael J. Fox, Nathan Lane, and Cyndi Lauper. Michael J. Fox was a kid actor. He basically runs a talent agency with his brother, but he never shows up. He lives in the past. Didn't quite hold up for me on a rewatch. I didn't like it very much. I don't think RJ was really into it. Michael J. Fox is lovable and enjoyable, as he always is, but the girl in the story I found to be a bit annoying, and there's a lot of holes in the story that on a rewatch just doesn't do it for me. I still give it a 2.5 out of 5. I think I was being nice for nostalgia reasons. Probably closer to a 2 upon further review. And I've never seen Fatherhood with Patrick Swayze and Halle Berry. Also Brian Bonsall and Michael Ironside. Is this any good, guys? Should I watch that in the future? Is it RJ appropriate? Let me know. Never seen Fatherhood. And then the last movie we watched was Collateral Beauty. And this is a movie that Bridget and myself watched. The movie is on my radar because of a pretty insane cast. You have Will Smith, Edward Norton, who's one of my favorite actors, Keira Knightley, Michael Pena, Kate Winslet, Helen Mirren. So I was incredibly intrigued throughout the movie about the story, but I don't know. There are just some things that happen in the third act of this that don't really make sense in regards to the rest of the movie, and that hurt it. There's good performances, but the plot was just really weak in my opinion. And I personally enjoyed 7 Pounds, which was another Will Smith movie I'd never seen. I give this a 2 out of 5. Collateral Beauty is not something I think you need to rush out and see. And that is it, guys. That is August movies in a nutshell. I watched 26 movies this month, including the hot trash of the month, Desperados on Netflix, which stars Naeem Pasid and Anna Camp. It was horrible. Don't watch it. I seriously watched The Wrong Missy instead. The Wrong Missy was so much funnier in my opinion. And the surprise of the month was Disney Plus's Magic Camp, a movie that should have been released over 2 years ago. Dropped with little to no fanfare. Adam Devine and Gillian Jacobs from Community in a family-friendly movie about magic. So definitely check that out if you have Disney Plus. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also subscribe if you guys don't do so already. It would be much appreciated. And be sure to hit the bell notifications so you guys know when new videos drop on the channel. Also, check out the description box down below where you can find links to my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, where I rate and review all the movies I watch, eBay page, Amazon wishlist, Blu-ray.com profile, email address, P.O. box. All that can be found down below. As always, guys, until next time, who's down to movie?